Hi, I'm Brittney Ashley, your host of Breaking Norms, Building Dreams, your guide through this transformative journey in both business and life. This is your place crafted for dreamers, doers, or anyone who has been told they can't. Get ready as we challenge those narratives together. You're tuning in live to the United Public Radio Network, airing on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We are streaming on all the popular platforms every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for a candid and thought-provoking conversation celebrating your unique journey because you are worth it. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm so excited to be with Jenn today.
Hello.
Show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah. As some of you might know, hopefully, that we're on Monday. Again, welcome to Breaking Norms, Building Dreams. I'm your host, Brittney Ashley, and we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network on 105.3 and 107.7 in New Orleans. So excited to escape the next hour with Jenn today.
Yeah, I'm very excited to chat.
I'll do a bio, but then we'll kind of like jump in. Just so everyone, whoever's listening, we have 2 more episodes left if all goes well. So I hope everyone is coming in today. If you're just bypassing the conversation, bring us questions. So everyone, please meet Jenn. Jenn is a PR strategist, speaker, writer, and founder of WINT Communications, where she helps small businesses tell big stories. With a passion for local voices and meaningful connection, Jenn works alongside entrepreneurs to craft PR strategies to get them noticed by the media, their communities, and the audience that matter. She is the author of Josie's Busy Calendar and a self-care story for kids and contributor to 2 motherhood and anthologies. I got that word. I was like, oh my goodness, tongue twister there at the end. I'm so excited to have you, though. We've been talking about this for a few months, and I know I had like a few guests, so I was super excited that I know that you're going to be one of the last ones coming on the show today before the new year. So I'm pretty excited to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Like you said, we have been chatting about this for a while, so
yeah.
We've got lots to talk about.
Well, maybe you can dig in and just highlight, like I know I did a brief short bio, and as the reoccurring listeners, they know that I do a short bio just because I'd rather you tell the story a bit more, and then we can kind of like dig into it further, and then we can dig into PR stuff, motherhood, and all the other stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been in PR. It's funny. I'm getting up to the point where I can say 20 years, almost 20 years, which is, I'm like, how is that possible? It makes me feel really old, but I have, roughly 20 years experience in PR. And I've been working on my own, not in a corporate space for about 13 years now. So it's been quite a while. Although 2 years ago, I kind of did a bit of a pivot in my business to really focus on like small independent businesses, entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, which has just been so kind of meaningful to really take those small businesses and help them tell their stories.
Yes, I love that. And maybe for anyone, and when I work with clients, I try to educate them to marketing is PR is part of marketing, but maybe what is a little bit different with PR, which is specifically public relations for anyone who doesn't know the abbreviation.
Yeah, no, it's super smart. And the education piece with the clients I work with is actually a big part of it, because there's like, people often say like, oh, what's the ROI on public relations? And I'm like, well, that's kind of a like long answer, because when you do like a Facebook ad, for example, you can say, okay, I got 3,000 impressions. I paid 6 cents per like, or whatever it is. Where public relations is effectively earned media. So it's not bought and it's not owned. It's media that you've earned. So that's like a third-party publication or a podcast or a news outlet or even an influencer or a blogger telling your story or talking about you or talking about your product. And generally it's because it's not paid for, it tends to be it's a review or it's a mention and it's earned. So somebody would have had to like enjoy your product or potentially not enjoy your product and want to share that or your story or your service. So PR is really a trust building exercise more than it is like a sales or advertising tool.
Mhm. Yeah, it makes sense to me. And just to go even further, I think a lot of people have the negative notation of what PR
Mhm.
is, right? I know I've worked with so many people who are like, oh, I'll talk about like an author that I knew, and they created a book, and and they were getting a lot of negative
Mhm.
feedback on just how the book was written, and there's grammar issues and all these things. And I remember being like, you just need to respond and not respond kind of
Mhm.
situation. And they were just kind of, no, I don't want to respond kind of piece. And I was like, no, but you really need to.
Yeah. I mean, no comment is a comment, right? So
Exactly.
when you say nothing, you're still saying something.
Mhm.
And yeah, crisis PR is definitely a thing. Like something goes poorly in your business, or someone, says something off color, that is definitely can generate some negative PR.
Yes.
I used to do a bit more crisis communications than I'm doing now. I
Mhm.
kind of say I'm in like the good news side of PR
Yeah.
these days. However, the good news side of PR is like PR can be super proactive, so that if you do have a crisis situation, it's
Mhm.
not, you've already kind of built up that positive reputation. Like, let's say that author had, begun pursuing proactive PR. They had, sent their book out. And when you send your book to a reviewer, you don't control what they say,
Yeah.
because, that they're a reviewer. There are opportunities to pay for reviews, which will garner you a more sort of positive light.
Yeah.
But a lot of times with PR, you are kind of taking the chance. So you want to make sure that your product, your service, your book, or whatever is something that that you feel really good about.
Mhm.
And pursuing proactive PR can kind of give you that basis of trust, so that if something does go awry, or doesn't go to plan, you have that kind of those loyal fans, or that basis of trust to lean on. So
Yeah.
don't wait until you have bad bad
No,
news.
even too, if something happens, like there's two sides to every story, right?
Mhm.
So you would hope that whatever client and or reader or whichever kind of dig into the different kind of reviews and take their own opinion and then go for it or not.
Mhm.
And I like would rather make sure that if there's any kind of negative stuff, just kind of stating my side of the story and in a way. So then the person, whoever reads those reviews, can be like, okay, I hear and see, and like I'm still going to pursue working with so or read that book. But yeah, I
Yeah.
find like that, like you're saying, like saying nothing speaks a lot, and
Oh, yeah.
I really think that because it, to me, I'm like even just acknowledging like certain emails, even though you don't want to, kind of thing. Like
Mhm.
I'm always like, I need to acknowledge something. Like I had like a bad experience, for example, with an individual, I won't say names. And I just kind of like, I was just like, had my hands up because I was like, I can't, my brain and my anxiety is so high that I can't even action certain things because I just feel like we're not on the same field. We're just not,
Mhm.
we're not there. And so I remember them emailing me being like, I think we should end project. And I was like, and I was talking to somebody else. They're like, yes, definitely end project and don't say anything. And I was like, ugh, but me, my heart, like I need to say something because it doesn't sit well with me. Also coming back from a background of communication, marketing
Mhm.
communications, I just can't because I've been ghosted by past people. And it's like, well, what did I do wrong?
Mhm.
Just want something.
Yeah, totally. And I think too, if you do have, one-to-one interaction is sort
Mhm.
of one thing, and there's lots of ways to deal with that. But like publicly, I think as well, like just using the author, for example, let's say they put their book out, they were super excited about their book, they sent it out to reviewers, and the reviewers are like, there's grammar errors in here. Like this story isn't consistent. And maybe that author is like, oh, yeah, there are grammar issues. Or maybe it's like, oh, this is written in a dialect that you don't understand. Like there's going to be a reason why that happened.
Yeah.
And if that author is like, you know what? I self-published this. I didn't get it professionally edited. And you're right, there are grammar issues. That offers that author an opportunity to kind of humanize themselves.
Yes.
Because we have all I sent out an email today and someone replied and I realized I had a spelling error in the subject. Like we all do it. It's something that everyone can relate to.
Yes.
And a lot of PR and storytelling is finding that human angle and being relatable.
Yes.
So I think if that author were to pursue some podcast opportunities or even some media opportunities, or go back to those reviewers and say, can we talk about this? Like, can I share sort of how it feels for me to have this book in the world that I cannot retract, but I know there's errors in it. You know, it's sort of, I always see, I mean, depending how negative and what the negativity is, obviously, I don't want to say I can put a positive spin on anything because I can't. Some PR people can, I can't. But I do think that there's always an opportunity to go back and to expand the story a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. And then also too, like for that incident, I know, for example, that she hired a junior editor who was still learning. So I'm like, well, that's your leverage because they're still learning. You can kind of tap in a little bit on that and be like, noted for the next book. Thank you for the review. Or, you know, like, I just feel like there could have been like some little tidbit there. So then, like you're just saying, they can get the full picture and like kind of humanize that piece.
Yeah, absolutely. Make your next book called How Not to Make Spelling Errors in Your Published Book. You know, there's always kind of, from things that are like genuine errors, there's always an opportunity to humanize the situation and to make connections.
Yes, 100%. Yes. Do you have any, because I want to dig just slightly a little bit more on PR and then we'll switch it. But for anyone listening to even just kind of get started, because like I mentioned, like the PR, I feel like we have that notion of like feeling it sometimes is mostly negative than positive, but maybe you have, I know you dug a little bit deeper, but say I'm coming to you for the first time, can use me as an example. How do I even start?
Yeah. And there's this like myth that to get PR, you need to be, you know, famous, or you need to have like a huge budget, or you need to have like, you know, a celebrity spokesperson or something. You totally don't. Like you, Brittney, are such a thought leader in your space. You know, your name comes up in a lot of rooms that you're not in as a leader in your space. So you are like more than qualified for PR opportunities. So I think to back up a little bit, when people say to me, I'd love to pursue some PR, my number one tip, my first step, start here, is consume media. Like figure out what types of magazines, what types of podcasts, what types of digital platforms you would like to be featured on, and then go there. If you want to be on Brittney's radio show, listen to a couple of the episodes, watch a couple of the episodes, because I'm sure you get pitched people that are like, I'll be a great guest, but they don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? They're like, you know, they don't know what they're talking about. And that is not a good look. So, you know, before you start putting yourself out for media, you need to understand that platform, understand who the journalists are, understand who the hosts are. So that would be kind of my first tip, is consume before you know, input before output. Yeah, I guess. And then the next thing is like, just once you've got a publication that you think, oh, wow, I think my story could really add value to this community. I think my story could fit in here. If you were talking about sort of 5 ways to streamline your business, or like 6 tips. I'm just trying to think, like, you know, we're kind of nearing the end of the year, right? So a lot of businesses are thinking about, how am I going to improve my operations in 2026? So maybe you pitch yourself for, you know, an article to like a lifestyle magazine, a marketing magazine, a small business magazine, or like you know, small to medium business, or a growth publication or something like that, or a podcast, to say, hey, I know there's a lot of businesses right now that are really looking to set themselves up for success in 2026. And I have like 5 tips on how businesses can do that. And so figure out where is your expertise, and then how can you pitch that story to the publication that has the right audience that needs that advice.
I like that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And I find like there's just so much noise out there. It's hard to kind of hone in where you want to go. And I feel like there's a spot for everybody for PR. We just need to where to show up and why.
Yeah. And like the worst thing that you can do, we call it spray and pray, but the worst thing you can do is be like, hey, I'm Brittney. I have 5 reasons entrepreneurs need a VA in 2026, and then BCC 100 journalists.
Yeah.
That is not going to get you a reply.
Yeah.
They know that you've done that. The way to approach PR would be to, if you want to go to a digital publication, to say, hi, Stuart, I saw that you wrote last week on 5 tech tips for entrepreneurs. My name's Brittney. I specialize in helping businesses streamline their operations to maximize their output. And I wondered if you'd be interested in 5 tips on that. So you're saying you're sending it to an individual and you're acknowledging, hey, I read this piece that you wrote last week and I really liked this coming out of it. This is what I think I can add to the conversation. And that's going to get you a lot further than spraying and praying like 100 random journalists without using their names.
Yes. And it also too shows that you've done a bit of your research to understand who they are. I've been on a few podcasts where I even just like throwing it back to me and I'm like, I should have done some research. And I felt so uncomfortable when I went in on it too, like at the general conversation. And after the fact, like, why did I do that? I'm like, I hope that doesn't like, it was a fine conversation, but I felt like I was getting like pinpoint over here. And that's not like how I wanted like the brand to show up maybe, or how I wanted to show up, because I was kind of thrown off. So I like how you're saying like, do your like due diligence and like research and like make sure you know who you're talking to too.
Yeah. And the other reason that you do want to do that research and make sure, like I was quite comfortable coming into this conversation today because I've listened to this show, I've watched some of the videos back, and I knew what to expect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the other reason that you want to make sure that you're well prepared is because it is earned media a lot of the time. If it was like a paid ad or something like that, and you got to really control the message, that's different. But you want your brand to show up in the best way possible. And you really want to position yourself as that thought leader. And if it doesn't go well and you end up sort of sounding kind of sloppy or something like that, which I'm sure you didn't, but if you had, then that, that is what it is. That person is there for that interview. They'll take what they want from it. Like I work mostly these days in like the good news PR, which is a nice space to be, but I've definitely worked with a lot of clients and coaching them on like how to craft that message and to make sure that you are delivering the key messages that you want, because in a news clip, they may interview you for like 7 minutes or something. And then what they show on the nightly news is, 20 seconds or something. And they may have you saying like, oh, the crowds here are a bit of a disaster, instead of all of the good things that you said about the event. The performers are wonderful. The parade was great. And then at the end you say like, yeah, the crowds are out of control. That's the clip they may choose to use, which is completely not the sentiment that you were trying to deliver on this message, on this event that you're working on. But, because it's an earned placement, you don't get a lot of control in what's used.
Yeah, even just taking it like a different way too. Like you even just see on like just some of the content that's out there, like the clips. Unfortunately, like a lot of people want to take the negative pieces because it does get more bait.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing, is you want a hook that media is going to appreciate. And you and I had talked a little bit before. I'm kind of switching gears a little bit, so put me back on track if I'm going the wrong way. But we had talked a little bit about like perfectionism and how to like really like kind of grapple with how to show up perfect. And what I always say to clients is nobody wants to hear a perfect story. If my story is like, well, I pursued a career in PR and I did some education and then I got some work experience and everything's been so wonderful, you're like, that's not interesting. I don't want to hear from her. People don't connect with perfect stories. So it's actually not to your advantage to be perfect. It's to your advantage to be human, authentic, and to have something that people can connect with.
100%. Like I just did an event on Friday, and I just kind of more or less like, it was like how to step more in the spotlight in camera. So either through photography or video. And I talked a lot about the imposter syndrome pieces, but then also being true to your authentic self, because I do think that we get lost in today's society with everything that's out there, all the noise. And we forget sometimes along the way of who we are and who we want to be, because we have all, especially for moms, like we have all these things coming at us and we just don't even like sometimes just put our hands up and just like, I'm done.
And who you want to attract.
Exactly.
If I stand up here and tell a bunch of lies about myself and say how in control I am and perfect and wonderful I am, I'm not going to get the audience. I'm not going to get the clients that are the right fit for me. Do you know what I mean? So when you're inauthentic, you attract inauthenticity, and it doesn't work out well for anyone.
No. And a lot of us start our business in hopes to probably work with our ideal, like the people that we want to work with. Like we go away from that corporate or whichever kind of lifestyle so we can build a business that fills our cup too. So if we're attracting the individuals that we're not in alignment with, like we're not going to feel in alignment as a whole.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. And your business won't be as successful if you're not attracting the right people. So it's, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you're a mom. Maybe you can kind of like dig in a little bit how you've been managing time management in between, like building a business and momhood.
Yeah, it's funny. I was self-employed before, like I had my business before I had my baby. So when I was expecting my first child, I was like, oh, how hard can this be? People make it look so easy. And because I didn't have sort of a traditional maternity leave or anything like that, I literally thought, oh, I'll just like babies sleep all the time. I'll just keep working. And I was in for like a pretty rude awakening when my son was born. His birthday is this week. He'll be 9. So I've got almost a decade of motherhood experience, although I wouldn't call myself experienced yet.
We're just learning as we go some days. All good.
Totally. Yeah. I like both my kids are in school now. So my daughter's in grade 1. So for the past like year and a bit, we've had the kind of school schedule, which has been a really wonderful kind of like framework for me to be able to do to run my business in, because as you know, with daycare, sicknesses, like all the things, it's really hard to get that flow. But I feel like now in the past year, I've really created a good routine. Although I joke that I work shift work because I do get up quite early. I get up before my family because I really love to just take in the quiet of the day. And like, I remember hearing these things before I had kids, being like, I will never get up early for the quiet of the day. But now I am that person. So I get up before them and I like do a couple of emails. I sort of figure out, what do I need to prep for the day? And then I go into the like breakfast, getting dressed, I walk them to school and then I work while they're at school for the day. And then I'll often log back in after bedtime just to do, because a lot of my work is writing and being creative. And sometimes I find that hard to do, when I'm watching emails come in and when I'm juggling stuff. So there's sort of the quiet morning and the quiet evening that that are pockets that I enjoy.
And it takes time to find what makes sense to you. I remember when I had a coach back when I first started, they're like, because this book says, I can't remember the name of the book, to be honest. You might know. It says that to be successful, you have to wake up at 5 a.m.
Oh, I've heard about that book.
Yeah. And I remember this coach, no longer a coach of mine. And if anything, let's reiterate, more of a consultant, I guess, than a coach, because she was telling me what to do. She kept like insisting me to read this book. And I'm like, I am not going to read this book because I already know you're trying to get me to wake up at 5 a.m, where I would rather stay up late to do the work. Right now, we're still in this weird time where I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out, because the thing is, depending on how old your kids are and where you're at in parenthood, it's going to change until probably they're a little bit more older. Like my kiddos are like 7 and 4. I'm like, oh my goodness, I had to think of that. Like, how old are they now? But like it changes constantly. So when they're in the baby stage, I was like, I know when nap time is. Hopefully I can do X, Y, and Z. And like I've had even individuals being like, let's go work out at 5 a.m. I'm like, I can't, because I know my son's going to wake up probably at 4 or 3, and I'm going to have to do all these things. And it just doesn't work in my time schedule because it's so chaotic in the morning. I don't actually have a schedule. So it's easier for me to work at night because I know I'm not going to be bugged.
Yeah. And I think too, as women, like we have, you know, and I'm like in my early 40s now, and I find that a lot of my, I don't even know the right language, but my, like, we'll call it my circadian rhythm, or that's your sleep rhythm. But yeah, my rhythms, my circadian rhythms are changing in the way that, like, I used to not ever be someone who enjoyed staying up late, but now I am finding this creative pocket kind of around 9 p.m. And in the work that you and I both do, like, some of it is sort of more transactional, some of it is more creative, and you can't just like turn on your creativity, and you can't turn on your creativity for like a 30-minute window. So it really is about carving out those times in the week where you are going to be in the right headspace to do the type of work that needs to be done, and then managing all the deadlines that come around that.
Yes. And two, because I work, you know, Lindsay. So Lindsay and I have mapped out where, generally speaking, some days I only have 2 hours to work. If I only have 2 hours to work, sometimes I have to put that kind of into different notions of what that looks like. So it could be bookkeeping if we're doing year end, or so that takes up a lot of my time. And like, right, because I was out of office Wednesday and I had someone ask me to meet today, but I'm like, no, sorry, like I'm completely full today. Like maybe, and I felt guilty. I'm like, why am I feeling guilty? I'm like, they didn't ask till last minute, and I pre-book things in with my clients, and then I need time to do other things in between. Like I shouldn't feel guilty. So like for me, for boundaries, I'm still working on it.
Oh,
So I'm
yeah.
such a people pleaser, but I'm like, no, like you have these days over here available, push it over there. If there's a pushback, like you have the right to also stand up because you're swamped today.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, boundaries and guilt are an ongoing struggle.
Yes. 100%. Yes.
Yeah,
We're
definitely.
already, because we're already midway, almost like a few minutes there. So I'm just going to say this for anyone listening.
Yeah.
We're midway into the show, so welcome to tuning into Breaking Norms, Building Dreams. We're live on the United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network on 105.3 and 107.7 in New Orleans. Because sometimes when we're in mid-conversation, it's hard for me to stop and say that. But yeah, so motherhood and about, like, I'll just kind of full circle on that a little bit. But I feel like I just really want to hit this for any parent listening, that you are the master of your own time, and make the time that makes sense to you. Because there's so many books out there that are out there because they say, like I was just saying, like you have to be up at 5 a.m. to make a multi-million-dollar company. No, I think it comes down to passion. So if you're passionate about your business and you want that to be successful, like build it, like the timelines around you and what works.
Absolutely. And also the sustainability of decisions like that, and the seasons. Like, as you know, like there's the baby season, there's like a toddler season, there's seasons that are more predictable. I feel like, knock on wood, I feel like I'm in a season right now that feels a lot more predictable than it has been the last few years. And that allows me to make different decisions when it comes to like when I get my exercise in, you know, when I'm working, when I'm not working, you know. So I think there's like, maybe there is a 5 a.m. season, but it's just not right now because I would be too tired.
I feel like, I'm like, would I ever be a 5 a.m. person? I don't know.
And maybe not.
I used to be. And so, because I worked at the ferries. So the ferries that went to Port Angeles, and we would have to be up. Like I would have to be up at 4 a.m. to be there for 5 open. And then when I used to, and because I've worked in a lot of industries, another industry, I was at like Painter's Lodge up island, and we would have to be there before the fishermen to make their coffees. So I'm like, I feel like I did my job.
Maybe that season's over for you.
I did my time. I did my 5 a.m., 4 a.m. shifts. And I'm just like, I like sleep in the morning.
Yeah, and like now I feel like I'm getting into a little bit of a season like where I'm spending more time, and this isn't necessarily a good thing, but I'm trying to kind of make it work for me. I'm spending more time in the car. Like I'm driving my kids to baseball practice or whatever. And then, it's an hour-long practice. So you have kind of like 50 minutes between drop off and pickup where, it's not really enough time to get home, but maybe it's time enough to get to the grocery store. But so I've been trying to like save tasks like work or personal tasks that I can do sitting in the car for 50 minutes. And I have like this notebook that I carry around that's like into like, okay, if I have like periods of like block periods of like what I call like deep thinking, do these tasks. If I have like, late thinking, car time, that kind of thing, do these tasks so that I can be a little bit efficient with the pockets of time and try to choose the work that's going to fit best into those pockets.
Yes. And I agree. Like I have my phone on and I quickly check through, like I get a lot of spam in my box sometimes. And so like, I always try to like quickly like look at my phone, for example. I'm like, nope. So when I actually get to the computer and I need to actually respond, I have the top ones right away.
Yeah.
And then anything that needs to kind of be like, oh, that can wait till tomorrow kind of thing, then it tries to filter it. Though I'm also trying to look, I had this conversation with Allie. We were trying to workshop for me is that I have like OCD with my inbox and I feel like I need to respond to everything right away. I don't know where that came from, but I'm trying, like, get back to the boundaries. I'm trying to teach myself about the boundaries. Like, it's okay if you don't respond to that email right away. If you're out of office and you have your out of office on, they don't expect to hear from you till next week. But sometimes I'm like, I just need to respond. I just need.
And also, like, I was at an event on Monday and we were chatting about this, and every industry has their little saying about like, we're not saving babies, or we're not, nothing's on fire. And like, for me, it's like, I remember an early boss saying this to me, it's PR, not ER. And that's always stuck with me, that like, if I don't get back to someone, and sometimes with media, like you have to jump on an opportunity or they will go to the next person. So I do keep a really close eye on my phone. But I always try to understand as well, like if we miss one of those opportunities and let's say media is like, yep, we need a spokesperson. We need to talk to Brittney for Small Business Week. That's an amazing opportunity depending on who the outlet is. And let's say I don't get to that email within an hour or something like that, and you miss that opportunity. Like that sucks for sure. And I would, as your publicist, try to like recover from that and offer an alternative. But at the end of the day, no one died. You know what I mean? It's not the end of the world.
I was just, this is actually going to lead into one of my next questions. Because I was having this conversation in the last show with Allie about like, why are we always in a rush? Like, I feel like, because why am I feeling the need that I have to always drop what I'm doing to respond to emails right away when they come through in? Or I like, especially this year, I just feel like we're like pedal to the metal kind of thing. And I feel like I can't even like hold my head up because there's always something happening. And it's probably related to AI because we're all like fast tracking. We want the fast solutions because AI can spit it out to us really fast. And I think we as humans are just trying to like sustain that in some kind, like trying to understand it, sustain it a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. And I think when you were like, if you were to email me, I mean, mine has a thing that comes up like automatic responder or whatever. And if I click that and you get this response from me, that's, you can tell when AI's written something.
Yeah.
And so you might get your answer. Sure. And it depends, it's hard to have this conversation without context, but if you were looking for like, can we change the time of this chat? It was supposed to be at this time. Can it be this time? And my calendar was able to say, yep, that time works great. You get your answer. That's wonderful. But are you, if your question was any deeper than that, are you going to feel connected to me? Are you going to feel like cared about? Are you going to feel like a valued client if you get some auto response? And I don't think so. I think you would rather wait. Like I get a lot of clients messaging me and saying, I have an angle or I have an idea, or like, what do you think about this outlet? And like, my brain is required. I need to like go through their pitch and say like, oh, we could tweak it in this way, or instead of sending it to this outlet, I think this is a better fit for this one. I think they value that expertise. And so they don't want an automatic response, because if someone replies automatically, that they haven't put a lot of thought into it.
Yes. Yep. Good point. Yeah. And I find like too, like when you do see something that comes in your focus, like what is that response time? Like really, if you change your train of thought, it's going to be harder to get back into something too.
Absolutely.
So constantly changing in and out, like you're losing that process.
Yeah. And I've seen a few times lately where I'll get an automatic response from someone that says, hi, thanks for your email. I only check my email twice a day, so you may not hear from me right away or something, which is great. Although I hate the fact that we even have to put those kind of autoresponders on.
Yes. That's kind of what I'm feeling right now, though, to be honest. Like, I don't know if it's just Christmas time and everyone just wants a meeting right now. And I'll make it work, but I'm feeling like I'm already feeling stretched.
What is the point of the year where we say, let's do it in January?
Yeah.
Is it December 10th where it's like you don't take any more meetings for 2025?
I think my brain has already switched to 2026. I'm like, if Brittney is already on vacay mode, start December 1st.
Yeah, totally. Nothing new on the to-do list for 2025. It's like, I'm full.
Yes, my brain is full. It needs a break.
Yeah.
I have already said to all my clients like a few weeks back, I'm like, just FYI, this is when I'm out of office. Just note it. See you in January. So I'm building up to it. So they know. But I'm
sure that they feel the same. They want to go on vacation too. And I think it's important for us to acknowledge that as well, that like, as much as we don't want to be working late or emailing on the weekends, our clients don't really want to get an email on the weekends.
Yes, 100%. I think it comes down to like your own boundaries too. But right? Because I am such a people pleaser, so I feel like it's just kind of like sometimes it gets out of control. So it's like self-reflection too. You can't please everybody.
Yeah. One tool that I've been using, definitely not a PR tool, but I've been using an email scheduler a lot, so that when I am, replying to emails either early in the morning, not at 5, but like maybe at 6, or in the evenings, or potentially on the weekends. If I do a couple of hours on the weekend, I'll schedule it to go out either the next morning or later that day or something like that, because I'm also trying to respect the recipient's boundaries. They don't want to get an email from me at 6 a.m. when it's not urgent. I replied in the time that suited me, and I would like them to kind of have that same opportunity.
100%.
Yeah.
And question a little bit deeper into the AI, because a lot I feel like we're seeing it from two spectrums of like super panic mode to kind of accepting. Like it's really one or the other. I feel like I haven't seen like some people are just like kind of in the middle of like, let's just see how it goes and go with it, go with the flow.
Yeah, it is interesting. A couple of people have said to me like, oh, are you worried that AI will steal your job? And I have to say, I feel really secure knowing that my job as a publicist and in public relations, especially working with small brands, will always be a need. Yes. Because the more that AI becomes commonplace, I guess you could say. And we're seeing it, so much on social media. Half the posts, more than half, maybe at least half of the posts that I read on social media, I'm engaging with the content. I'm kind of taking it in, but I know it was written by AI, and I hope that there was a human edit. Sometimes I can think that there is, sometimes I think there isn't. Yes. But I think that what that does is it increases the value of PR, because it makes an authentic human experience more valuable. Yes. And more like you and I are having this conversation right now. If someone's listening, they know that this is sort of a human conversation. Whereas if you were to export the transcript and say to AI, clean up this transcript between Brittney and Jenn and make this conversation really useful for people, and they were to read that, they might know that this has been sort of, AI generated. Whereas this conversation is two humans having a conversation. So I think it actually increases the value of storytelling, authentic connection. And it also increases the hunger that people that are either buying your services or purchasing your product, they want to feel that connection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I did a talk, I can't remember when, sometime this year. It's been gone from my memory. Like I said, I'm already in vacation mode.
You're in 2026.
But I was just talking about like outsourcing and virtual assisting and all these things. And somebody mentioned being like, you should be scared because AI is going to take over VA world. And I was like, well, and so he just kept challenging me. Long story short, I guess I did some research after the fact, and he owns an AI full on company. But my one pushback to him was, we are humans and we'll never lose the human connection.
Yeah.
No matter what all these things are coming and telling us, we are human. So we're always going to crave it. Like prime example, what we just went through not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
All like being locked in our houses. Like we all went a little stir crazy. It's because we can't be locked up and not.
People are creative. People are social.
Yes.
Yeah, people want connection, and people want to feel seen. They want to share experiences. And like, sure, AI is great for many things. I use it myself, but like it's not going to replace connection. And as you said, like we've proven that.
Yes, 100%. I really think it's always going to be there. I'm just looking at Terry's notes in the chat. It's a long one, but overall about like just protecting the rights of, well, we can see like copywriting and all of that too. And another thing, like we're looking at in the Hollywood and the writers situation and the AI there, what they want in their contract. So I do think there's a lot of conversations that still need to be had overall, and how to make sure that people are safe.
Oh yeah.
And all the things in between. But I think there's a happy medium. Like transcripts, for example. Well, actually, we just had a meeting with a client, and it was very interesting because it was like, you're broadcasting live. And I was like, why are we broadcasting live? Where is this going to the masses? And so I told everyone to log off and get back in the call, because I'm like, I don't like, is someone watching our conversation? Like, I don't like, there's different, when you say we're broadcasting live, I consider this.
Yeah.
One of the note takers that we utilize, they say that you're broadcasting live because it's linking to their AI system, which is fine, but I feel like we need different terminology.
I also remind myself very regularly that nothing I'm doing is that interesting. I shouldn't say that. All of my clients are amazingly interesting and have great stories. I guess what I mean by that is I'm not like, we're not talking about transferring millions of dollars. We're not talking about curing diseases. We're not talking about, proprietary information. So maybe I'm lucky in that way, that if someone were to steal my story, I think that a lot of what I'm trying to do is get stories out there. I mean, I would like to be credited, obviously, if they're stealing my particular story. But, one of the anthologies I was just part of was about postpartum anxiety and depression. If AI were to take a conversation about postpartum anxiety and depression and make it mainstream, thank you. These are conversations I believe that we should be having more often. So great, get it out there.
Yeah.
Steal it.
Go for it.
Drive more people to the book. Go for it.
I find, well, you can definitely see when you read some of the content. Like some of the times when I do use anything AI and I get so frustrated. I'm like, over it. I'll do it myself. You're not listening to me.
Yeah, definitely.
But it does save for certain things. So like note taking, I don't mind having a note taker. It actually helps me quite a lot because then I can actually focus on the conversation. If anyone's new here listening, I do have dyslexia. And so when I write notes, my brain can't, especially my brain with ADHD. So my brain's like trying to go over here, trying to write the notes, and I can't figure out how to spell something. I forgot the whole conversation. So I like having these conversations like this. So then I know that note takers taking the notes and I can review it if I need it.
Absolutely.
So to me, like that's my saving grace. But there's certain things that has helped too in between, like you're saying, like quick little email notes or anything like that. There's definitely ways that we can leverage in business to help us, but it's just having the happy medium and the human connection piece too.
Yeah. And I think skills like we would never have put on a resume, good at conversation with people, good at human interaction. And I think in terms of hiring and a lot of customer facing jobs, being able to carry on a conversation, being comfortable speaking to strangers is going to become more of a valued skill. Like for me, for example, when I'm working with small businesses, I will, before I pitch someone to TV or pitch someone to radio or even pitch someone to a podcast, I kind of do a little vetting process. Like, is this person going to be comfortable on a live television? It's not for everyone, right? Yep. So I have to kind of do that. I have to kind of do a little bit of a vetting process. And, a lot of the people I work with, some of them are just natural, but some of them need a bit of training. Yeah. But I think that those types of skills, like being able to work at a trade show. I think everybody should have to work at a trade show for one weekend of their life, because standing at a booth and trying to get the attention of strangers and having conversations and making like small talk, which can sometimes be so boring, is such a valuable skill that AI will never teach us and never replace. So I think the people that are good at interhuman connection, the people that are good at articulating their story, the people that are good at sort of being, bringing authenticity to the table, like those will become very valued skills that in the past couple of decades haven't really been notable skills because we had no other choice.
I love that. I think you're so true. Would you say all trade shows are just like events if you have a vendor table?
I think everyone, I'm going to make my kids work at a trade show. Just for, there's nothing like just trying to sell something to people who don't necessarily want it.
Yeah. No.
Just for one weekend.
Yes. Try it out and see. No. And you learn a lot too. Like when you're on, like just doing the event, for example. Like I was running around. I was like, what do you need help with over here? Like I was just like a vendor / speaker, but I went behind the scenes and making sure, like, because there's a lot to put on an event.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Some things can happen and go sideways. So now I think my background being doing the diploma in tourism hospitality, because they make you like my diploma. I don't know if it's different in other parts, but this diploma made me be in every single area in the hotel. So then I can have an understanding when I become a manager on how each person can feel and what that kind of like what they experience. So like I was in housekeeping, was in the fish cooler. I was tying up boats. I was fired from that one because the boat went that way. But I've been there and did it and I understand. And so that's where I think where I come from too, from the managing side with teams. I hear from all perspectives and like consider like, okay, you're going through this. How can we help you here? And like, just like the little notations, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And just when someone says like, I was trying to tie the boat up and it went this way, and you're able to offer empathy for that, as opposed to saying like, well, why didn't you just tie it up or whatever?
Yeah.
Then it's an opportunity to connect, right? And that is the piece that you can't automate.
Exactly. Luckily, by the way, we did get that boat back.
Oh, good.
His name was Spanky. His name, Fisher name. He went on out there, and he's the one who fired me.
Oh my goodness!
Brittney, stick with coffee. And with that, like okay. But we're almost nearing the end. Is there any last minute tidbits you want to share with anybody? I know we didn't get to your book, so any last tidbits? And I have your free guide going around here for anyone.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah,
perfect. Yeah, that's just some 5 tips for small businesses that are pursuing PR and kind of media visibility. I think what I would say is like, please support your local media. We are all looking to put stories out there, but a lot of times we're not consuming that local media, and it's so important to find out what is going on in your community, because it's so easy to get news from from TikTok and other parts of social media, that I'm always encouraging people to find out where your community paper is, and either try to pick one up. There's nothing like holding a community paper in your hand while you drink coffee. There's no less AI experience than that. So yeah, I'm a big proponent of supporting local media, because those are the stories that really shape the communities and the places that we're living. What else would I offer? And just tell your story. Like you really don't have to be a celebrity or have the best story to have a story that's worth telling.
Mm-hmm. And I find like we think that we need to, unfortunately, because of social media or whichever, because we just see kind of, and yeah, I just feel like be authentic and step into your true self, and you're just going to resonate with so many individuals that connect with your story or just who you are.
Totally. Yeah, no, I agree so much. I think we see that nobody likes perfect people. So, if you want to be approachable, and if you want people to be attracted to wanting to work with you, then you can kind of show a little bit of your mess.
Yes. And like going back to like the speaking event that I did on Friday. So it was a speaking event. I'll just take a quick bit. But I was speaking, and there was like the speaking room, and then we had like the shot room over here with music bumping. And I was like trying to like tell my story. And it was funny because Peter's like, I love how your prime line was, I have ADHD. And then all of a sudden you hear like the disco music over on the other side, like full on trying to throw off somebody with ADHD. I was like, I was trying so hard to be perfect. And then it made me catch myself too, being like, you don't need to be perfect, because everybody in the room was like, you could see their faces when I was speaking. Like they were so like devastated for me, because they knew I was trying to like tell my story, but I couldn't really tell it because we had bumping music on the other side of the
And you were sharing an experience. If you're all in the same physical space, they could hear the music as well. Participants at a live event can feel like, is the room too warm? Are they setting up the lunch? Like you're all part of that experience, which I think is a really powerful opportunity to share something.
Yes. Maybe you can just quickly share about your PR bundle. I can't remember the name of it. I don't have it.
Oh, my Power Hour.
Okay. I was going to say Power Hour, and I was like, I feel like that might not be right.
Yeah, no, it's called a PR Power Hour. And I've been loving these so much. I wanted PR can sometimes be inaccessible for small businesses just based on a cost and a need. But I really wanted to create an offering for, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, small to medium-sized businesses. So the PR Power Hour is like a 1-hour coaching session. You set out a couple of goals before we meet. And then we kind of spend an hour, and I put my like media hat on, and we go through some of the story angles, some of what brought you to where you are, some of the outlets, where's your audience? And then we make all of those kind of connections. And at the end of that session, you come out of it with a strategy, a pretty high level strategy, but a strategy that you can ideally then kind of sit down and start telling your story to the media that you want to connect with. I'm very kind of focused on action. I want to be able to give clients things that they can start working on right away that will kind of increase their visibility pretty quickly. Yeah. And then I have a membership program for people that have done those power hours and want just like that little weekly nudge to kind of stay on track and to continue to tell their story. And then I match them with media opportunities, and it's such a great community. Everyone's really supportive of one another. So it's a lot of fun.
Yes. Which I do plan to join in December for you.
Great.
Yes, Jen and I have already been talking the background for Creative Dynamics and our why, and why I started, for those who are just listening, is just really to help moms work from home and having a little bit more of that conversation. I think it's really important on like the flexibility, but then also building our career development as well as we're growing into different areas of our life. But yeah, we're already at
the whole story.
Yeah, I know it's been bananas of a year, as you know, for me. And even though the reoccurring listeners, I've kind of had to do some extra replays, but we're growing strong. We're ending the 2025 year. My brain's almost in 2026. Year strong.
We're still here.
We're still here.
Don't flip the calendar yet.
But thank you so much, Jenn, for coming on today. I love having you on, and we'll have you on again if you'll come back on.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This has been great. I think the more, the more conversations like this, the more that people can really step out of their comfort zone. So thank you for creating such a safe space to invite people like me to share a little bit of our story.
Absolutely. And thank you again for coming on today, and to all our listeners, and a big thank you to United Public Radio Network. And with that, everyone, remember, your journey is unique and your worth is unquestionable.
Thank you.